Discover 4 game-changing communication techniques. You won't believe how they can transform your life. Communication is a crucial factor not only in your work, but also in every relationship around you. But have you ever wondered, are you truly communicating effectively? Or are you simply talking without actually connecting? If you think communication is just about speaking words, you're wrong. The way you choose your words, when you pause, or even the questions you ask can completely change the conversation and your relationship with others. And how will this change? In this video, I'll reveal 4 incredibly powerful communication techniques that anyone can learn and apply right away. You won't believe how effective they are. From building self-confidence and creating deeper connections with others to maintaining control in every conversation, these techniques will turn you into a true communication master. Get ready to be amazed by these simple yet incredibly powerful strategies. Technique number 1: quality in communication. Make your words matter. When it comes to communication, one of the most important aspects is the quality of the story you tell. You could have a wealth of information, but if you can't express it clearly and understandably, everything falls flat. Think about it. How many times have you encountered someone who talks a lot but never gets to the point? Often, these are the people who fill their sentences with unnecessary filler words like or you know. We've all experienced this. Someone starts telling a story and every few words, they toss in filler words. You've probably heard something like this. So, I went to the supermarket earlier today and, I bought some vegetables and then I got home around 5 p.m. and, well, doesn't that sound exhausting just to listen to? The story feels dragged out and you quickly lose interest because it doesn't get to the point fast enough. On the other hand, when you focus on delivering the core information without all the extra fluff, your message becomes powerful and engaging. The same story can be told more succinctly and confidently, grabbing attention immediately. How to improve the quality of your communication? 1. Cut out filler words. Words like or like are common, but they add no value to your message. Instead of pausing and filling the silence with these words, take a deep breath, gather your thoughts, and speak clearly. 2. Focus on key information. Don't ramble. Ask yourself what the core of your message is and stick to that. Avoid unnecessary details that don't add to the point you're making. 3. Be concise and direct. People respect and appreciate brevity. The more you can communicate your point in fewer words, the more confident and authoritative you appear. Example to illustrate the difference before. So, on Sunday, I woke up early and I played cricket in the morning until noon. And then, I went out with my family in the afternoon and we had a really fun time. It was so much fun. On Sunday, I played cricket in the morning, then spent the afternoon with my family. It was a great day. Notice how the second version is clear, concise, and confident. The message is the same, but it's delivered with impact. There's no filler, and the story doesn't lose its value by dragging on. The power of quality communication. By improving the quality of your speech, you don't just become a better communicator, you also come across as more confident and trustworthy. Think about people you admire for their communication skills. They don't need to say much to get their point across, but when they do speak, every word feels intentional and meaningful. That's the kind of impression you want to leave on others. Imagine you're in a meeting and you have an important point to make. If you speak with clarity and cut out unnecessary words, you immediately gain respect and attention. People are more likely to listen to you and value what you say. But how do you get there? It's all about practice. The next time you're about to say something, ask yourself, is this word necessary? If not, get rid of it. Start being intentional with every word that leaves your mouth. With time, you'll notice how much stronger your communication becomes. Actionable tip: practice speaking in front of a mirror or record yourself talking about a topic you enjoy. Then listen to it critically. How many filler words did you use? Can you rephrase your sentences to make them shorter and more powerful? This exercise will help you identify areas where you can improve. Conclusion: quality over quantity. To wrap up, quality in communication isn't just about cutting out unnecessary words. It's about being mindful of how you express yourself and ensuring that every word you say adds value. When you can do this, your communication will be much more impactful, and you'll become the kind of person that others want to listen to. So, the next time you speak, remember, make every word count. Speak with confidence, clarity, and purpose, and you'll notice a huge difference in how people respond to you. Technique number 2. Pausing while speaking. The power of silence. In conversations, we often tend to speak quickly and continuously without pausing. The urge to speak a lot or avoid silence can make the conversation feel disorganized and less engaging. However, pausing while speaking holds a great power, making your words deeper and capturing greater attention from your listener. Why are pauses important? 1. Allow time for the listener to absorb the information. When you pause after each sentence or idea, you give the listener a moment to process the information. This helps prevent them from being overloaded with too much information and gives them time to think more deeply about what you've just said. 2. Show confidence and careful thought. People who pause when speaking are often perceived as calm and thoughtful. By not rushing to speak continuously, you show that you have taken time to choose your words carefully and are not afraid of silence. 3. Emphasize important points. When you pause after sharing something important, the listener will feel that point is significant. Pauses can highlight the key information you want them to remember or pay attention to. How to use pauses effectively in communication. 1. Pause after each complete sentence. After every sentence or major idea, take a brief pause. Don't fear the silence. Instead, use it to create attention from the listener and give them time to digest the information. Example: instead of saying quickly, "I played cricket on Sunday morning and went out with my family in the afternoon," pause after each part like this. "On Sunday morning, I played cricket." Pause for a moment, giving the listener time to imagine this activity. "Then in the afternoon, I went out with my family." Pause again to emphasize that this was an important part of your day. 2. Pause when you want to emphasize something important. When you share crucial information, give it weight by pausing right after you say it. Example: instead of saying, "I got an amazing job and I'm really excited," try, "I got an amazing job." Pause, allowing the listener to feel the excitement and importance of the moment. "And I'm really excited." This will have more impact after a brief pause. 3. Focus on the rhythm and pace of your story. Pausing isn't just about stopping your speech, it's about creating a rhythm for your story. This helps you maintain interest, avoiding speaking too fast or too slow, which could make the listener lose focus. Real-life example of using pauses in conversation. Before, no pauses. "Yesterday, I went for a walk in the park. The weather was beautiful, and I bumped into an old friend. We talked about everything, from work to old memories." This sounds rushed and lacks a clear flow. The story feels like a jumble of events without a clear connection. After, with pauses. "Yesterday, I went for a walk in the park." Pause. "The weather was beautiful." Pause, letting the listener visualize the scene. "And I bumped into an old friend." Pause again, allowing the listener to picture the encounter. "We talked about everything, from work to old memories." Pause, emphasizing the significance of the conversation. This story has depth, allowing the listener to picture each moment and making the conversation more engaging. Benefits of pausing while speaking. 1. More active listening. When you pause and leave space for silence, you also create room for the listener to engage more actively. This makes the conversation more two-way rather than just you delivering information. 2. Creates a persuasive effect. Someone who knows how to pause while speaking is seen as more confident and persuasive. The listener feels that what you're saying carries weight and that you're not just filling the conversation with unnecessary chatter. Conclusion. Pausing while speaking may seem like a small technique, but it can make a huge difference in how you communicate. Practicing pauses after every sentence or idea will help you become a more calm, confident, and memorable speaker. Remember, silence doesn't always need to be filled with words. Silence can be the key to giving your message more impact. Try applying this technique in your daily conversations, and you'll notice a difference in how people listen to you and respond to what you say. Technique number 3, use affirmative sentences instead of questions, creating a comfortable, engaging conversation. In communication, constantly asking questions can make the conversation feel more like an interview than a casual exchange. This might lead to tension and discomfort for the other person. Instead, learning to use affirmative sentences or opening remarks can make your conversations more engaging, less interrogative, and much more enjoyable. Why affirmative sentences work better than questions? 1. Create a comfortable environment. Questions can sometimes put pressure on the person you're talking to, making them feel like they need to answer something perfectly. On the other hand, affirmative sentences feel more like an invitation to share, rather than a test of knowledge or opinion. 2. Encourage a deeper connection. By using affirmations or open-ended statements, you're inviting the other person to share more about themselves naturally. This method encourages them to speak freely without feeling they are being judged or put on the spot. 3rd, shift the conversation flow. Instead of making the person feel like they are always in the hot seat, affirmative sentences help you guide the conversation in a more relaxed, flowing manner. This allows for a more dynamic and enjoyable exchange. How to use affirmative sentences in your conversations. Use compliments or observations. Rather than asking, "Do you like to travel?" or "Where have you been?" Logically, you could say, "You seem like someone who enjoys exploring new places. I bet you've traveled to some amazing destinations." This approach allows the other person to feel seen and acknowledged without being interrogated. It also opens the door for them to share their experiences more freely. Example, question approach. Do you like to play sports? OWFO, affirmative approach. You seem like someone who's really active. I bet you enjoy playing sports. In the second example, you're guiding the conversation in a positive direction without putting pressure on the person to answer. They might respond with something like, "Actually, I do play basketball every weekend." 2. Use positive statements about the person. When you make a positive statement about someone, it builds rapport and invites them to share more. A statement like, "You have such a positive energy about you. I bet you have some interesting hobbies," lets the other person know you're interested in them in a non-threatening way. Example, question approach. What do you like to do in your free time? Affirmative approach. You strike me as someone with a lot of creative energy. I'm sure you have some unique hobbies. This approach not only makes the person feel good, but it also sparks their interest in sharing more. 3. Tell a story to invite shared experiences. One powerful way to use affirmation is to share a personal story. This technique invites the other person to relate their own experiences and opens up a space for connection. The story you share should be relevant but not too personal. It's about creating common ground. Example, instead of asking, "Do you like horror movies?" you can say, "When I was younger, I used to be terrified of horror films, especially ones with ghosts. I remember hiding under my blanket when the scary parts came on." This gives the person an opening to share their own experiences with fear or movies, and it immediately shifts the conversation into a more relaxed, personal exchange. 4. offer statements to spark curiosity. By making a statement about the person or situation, you can spark their curiosity and prompt them to share more. Phrases like, "I've noticed that people who love reading often have the most interesting perspectives," can lead to a discussion where they share what they read and why they love it. Example, O question. Approach, "What kind of books do you like to read?" O affirmative approach, "I always find that people who are passionate about reading have the most unique perspectives. What's your favorite type of book?" This opens the door for a deeper conversation, as the person is now sharing from their heart rather than just answering a simple question. 5. Create curiosity through a hypothetical situation. Sometimes, instead of asking a direct question, you can present a hypothetical situation to get the conversation going. For example, imagine you could travel anywhere in the world. Where would you go first? Is less of an interrogation and more of a creative exploration. It allows the person to engage with the scenario and share their ideas. Real-life example of using affirmative sentences. Before, using questions. Where did you grow up? Did you enjoy your childhood? What was your favorite part about it? After, using affirmations. You seem like someone who has a lot of great childhood memories. I bet you grew up in a really interesting place. People who had happy childhoods usually have amazing stories. I'm sure you have some fun ones to share. This method invites the person to share more about their past without feeling interrogated. They feel safe to open up and share freely. Benefits of using affirmative sentences instead of questions. 1. Less pressure. Instead of bombarding the other person with questions, you create a casual, easygoing conversation where they don't feel like they're on trial. 2. Encourages storytelling. People love sharing stories when they feel comfortable. Affirmative sentences lead naturally into storytelling, which is a great way to build rapport and trust. 3. Deepens connection. This method helps to create a more genuine connection, as it shows you're interested in the person as a whole, not just what they can answer in response to a question. 4. Elicits richer responses. Because you're giving them the opportunity to share, the responses you get are often more insightful and personal. Conclusion. In communication, shifting from a question-based approach to a more affirmative style not only makes your conversations feel less like an interview, but also creates a richer, more engaging dialogue. People feel more comfortable, open, and willing to share when the conversation flows naturally with positive affirmations and gentle prompts instead of constant questioning. Start using affirmative sentences today and watch how your conversations transform into meaningful, enjoyable exchanges that leave both you and the other person feeling heard and connected. Technique number 4, connecting topics in conversation, creating seamless, engaging exchanges. In conversations, connecting topics not only keeps the flow going, but also helps you create deeper connections with the person you're talking to. Sometimes, we don't realize that within each sentence we speak, there are numerous hidden topics that, if we pay attention, can be used to extend the conversation and add richness to the dialogue. Why connecting topics is important. 1. Keeps the conversation flowing. When you jump from one subject to another without a smooth transition, the conversation can feel disconnected or forced. By linking topics, you make the conversation feel more natural and fluid, which keeps both parties engaged. 2. Builds rapport. Sharing more details and thoughts based on what was just said helps you create a genuine connection. By showing interest in what the other person says, you invite them to share more, deepening the conversation. 3. Stimulates curiosity. A good connection between topics can spark curiosity, encouraging the other person to ask follow-up questions, share their own experiences, and dive deeper into areas they might not have thought about before. 4. Engages both speakers. A seamless flow of ideas engages not just the speaker, but also the listener. When people see that their words lead to more interesting topics, they are more likely to contribute and open up. How to effectively connect. Topics in conversation 1. Look for hidden links. Every time someone says something, there's usually an underlying topic that can be expanded. Look for these opportunities in every conversation. Example, oh, you say, I just returned from a trip to Paris. Oh, you connect. I always loved the atmosphere there, but I've realized I prefer smaller towns. The hustle and bustle of big cities can be overwhelming. Oh, this leads to a conversation about city life versus small towns, and it can branch into topics like travel experiences, cultural differences, or even how busy cities affect mental health. By connecting these thoughts, you're giving the other person more to engage with and also encouraging them to share their experiences with city living or travel. 2. Ask follow-up questions based on the connection. Instead of immediately changing the topic or moving on, you can use the information from one part of the conversation to ask a relevant follow-up question. This invites the other person to continue exploring the topic in more depth. Example, or you say, I recently moved to a smaller town from a big city like Mumbai. Oh, you connect. I was surprised by how peaceful it is here, but it also got me thinking, how does the pace of life in a smaller town affect the way people interact with each other? This opens up an interesting line of inquiry about social dynamics in different environments, community life, or even adjusting to new living spaces. The conversation can go from being about your move to something more philosophical or even deeply personal. 3. Use personal experiences to bridge topics. You can share a small personal anecdote or observation that connects to what the other person has said. This can turn a simple statement into a doorway to a broader topic. Example, oh, someone says, I don't like the crowded subways in big cities. Oh, you connect. I get that. I used to take the subway every day in Mumbai, and the worst part was always trying to get a seat. It made me think about how we take public spaces for granted. Have you ever noticed how people act differently in crowded places? Now, you're linking the conversation from subways to human behavior in public spaces, which might lead to a more interesting discussion about society, personal space, or even cultural differences in behavior. Extend the conversation by being curious. Once a topic has been introduced, dive deeper into it, rather than letting it sit as a surface-level statement. Asking thoughtful questions related to the original point helps draw out richer responses and more ideas. Example, oh, you say, I was talking to my friend yesterday about the chaos in big cities. Oh, you connect. It made me realize how much we miss when we're constantly rushing. Do you think that living in a busy place changes how people view time? This connection leads to a much deeper reflection on time management, work-life balance, and even modern life in urban areas, keeping the conversation lively and thought-provoking. 5. Bridge topics with humor or curiosity. Sometimes connecting topics can be as simple as introducing a funny observation or a curious remark that ties in with what was just said. Humor, when used correctly, can provide a natural segue to new subjects, while also lightening the mood. Example, oh, you say, I've been binge-watching documentaries lately, especially ones about ancient civilizations. Oh, you connect. It's fascinating to think about how different life was back then and how they built entire cities without modern technology. Makes me feel like I need to learn how to build something with my own 2 hands. This shifts the conversation into areas like history, technology, or even DIY projects, while keeping things light and engaging. Why it works. It feels natural. People prefer conversations where they don't feel like the topic is constantly changing without warning. By linking subjects together, the conversation feels like it's evolving naturally, allowing both parties to explore the subject matter more deeply. It shows active listening. When you connect what someone else says to something else, it shows that you are paying attention and that you care about what they're saying. This deepens the trust and rapport between you. It fosters deeper discussions. Instead of scratching the surface, connecting topics invites both people to go beyond casual exchanges and have meaningful discussions that could last longer and lead to even more interesting insights. Example of connecting topics in action. Let's say you're talking about your favorite hobbies, and the conversation starts like this. 1. Person A: I love painting, especially portraits. 2. You: That's amazing. I imagine portraits can be really challenging. It reminds me of the time I tried drawing a self-portrait. Have you ever painted yourself or someone you know? Third person A: Actually, I have. It was a lot harder than I thought. 4. You: I bet. You know, painting has always been an interesting way to express emotions. Have you noticed how artists often express their feelings through their art? I wonder if it's easier to paint how you feel than to talk about it. This keeps the conversation going by connecting a specific detail, painting portraits, to broader themes like self-expression, emotion in art, and the difficulty of capturing feelings through visual mediums. Conclusion: connecting topics is one of the most powerful tools for creating engaging, deep, and continuous conversations. It requires you to be an active listener and encourages you to see the hidden threads in what the other person says. When you learn to connect these threads, you transform a simple exchange into a much more dynamic, enjoyable, and meaningful interaction that leaves both you and the other person feeling more engaged and connected. So next time you're having a conversation, remember to look for those opportunities to link topics and watch your conversations flow effortlessly. So, we've explored effective communication techniques together, from improving the quality of your storytelling to mastering the art of connecting topics for more engaging and meaningful conversations. By applying these techniques, I believe you'll notice a real difference in how you communicate and connect with those around you. But this is just the beginning. Let's continue this journey because every conversation is an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos on Summary Update. We'll keep delivering valuable and inspiring content to help you communicate confidently and effectively in every situation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.